disconnected.
Hey guys, welcome to Woodzman Adventures. Today's vlog, I'm just out running the bike up of Worcester, so run up the road to air dry it and back for a quick ride. And I got to think, well, I want to talk about, everybody's wondering, should they get an Africa Twin? I mean, an Africa Twin or a dual sport, which one's best for me? Because really, they consider the Africa Twin an adventure bike / dual sport, but to me it leans more toward the adventure bike because of the weight and size of the bike. But there's a lot of other factors that come in too of whether the thing should fit you. And I want you to understand also that I'm not trying to encourage anybody to buy an Africa Twin or a dual sport or either way. I mean, that's totally up to you and totally up to... But I just want to give you an idea of my experience and what I think. So before you go start bashing my video like some people do, realize this is my opinion. Everybody can think what they want to think. But this is the way I feel, and I'm just going to tell it to you the way it is. So the first thing as far as getting an Africa Twin is you got to consider, compared to a dual sport, is this thing is $13,000. Is it worth investing $13,000 instead of buying something like the CRF1000L or the 250L Rally or the WR, which is gone, I think. They're not going to make it no more. But anyway, any of the dual sports, the KTMs, I mean, $13,000. Okay. So that's one thing to add in. Another thing to add in when we're talking money is for some reason, and some of you guys will probably agree, you should agree because it's the truth, but it seems like for some reason when you put adventure motorcycle on there, the price goes up on everything. I mean, it seems like the dual sport stuff is a lot less money, but boy, you put Africa Twin or adventure motorcycle and the price goes up stupid. Everything is expensive for an Africa Twin. All the aftermarket products, the skid plates, the crash bars, you put windshields, there's so much stuff you can do, and everything costs more money. So, but for the most part, depending on what you want to do, you may not need all them farkles and all that stuff. So, it may not be even something you want to consider as far as upgrades. The bike is good in its stock form. So, we'll move on to the bike and performance compared to a dual sport. Now, when I got this bike, right before I had it, or got it, I had a CRF1000L, a perfect bike. I loved the bike. I had fun on it. It was great. The worst thing I didn't like about the bike was because of the speed on the highways and big trips and riding 2-up with my wife, which I do a lot of riding 2-up and back roading, as you can see by my videos, with my wife, and longer trips with the buddies, which on a dual sport, that's hard to do. You can. There's some people that's hardcore, and you can ride a long ways on dual sports, but not near in the style and the comfort you can on the Africa Twin. So that being said, when I had the 250L, and I thought, well, the thing to do would be to have, why not get an Africa Twin? Because I have the best of both worlds. I have a dual sport that can go on big, long trips and still do the off-road stuff. Which, in a sense, that's true. Because you can go on big trips, go nationwide easily compared to a dual sport. It's so much more comfortable. So much more things you can add to it to carry luggage. It's bigger. It's, So, the worst part is off-road. And the Africa Twin, as far as adventure bikes, is probably the best out there. You can watch review after shootout, and you'll see that the Africa Twin for the off-road stuff is an incredible bike compared to the other ones because it's lighter than them and more nimble. It's a good off-road bike. But I'm talking about taking, like I did the 250L, and I'd go off in the woods and ride hardcore. I mean, ledge rocks, log jumping, brush banging, running over brush, and with not even damaging it. Even if you fall over, you don't damage much. You fall over because it's light, the dual sport's lightweight, so easily picked up. This thing here, when you fall over, you better be prepared because it's a job to pick it up. I've done it probably twice. One time I crashed it. One time my kickstand fell over in the mud. Bike fell over. One time I dumped it in my driveway like a dummy. Stepping backwards, I fell over with it. But so off-road, and there's some people, don't get me wrong, some people's going to sit here and say, you can take that Africa Twin in way more places you can do, and it'll do anything the 250L will do, or the other dual sports. I'm not talking about dirt bikes, dual sports. But there's very few people who can actually ride one that good, and if anybody's sitting there saying that they can ride their Africa Twin in the rocks like I can a dual sport, well then bring it down and let's see. Because very few people can do that. Some people can. When you're slinging around over 500 pounds of weight on the bike, it's not even the same. I mean, you try working this thing around in the woods, even with good tires, and it doesn't matter. It's bigger, it's bulkier, it's heavier, and it don't ride like a dual sport in the woods and the rocks and the trails. And I mean, to me, a dual sport for that kind of stuff is a lot more fun than the Africa Twin. For back roading like this, highways, I choose the Africa Twin. So it can go both ways. For my riding, the way I ride right now, the type of riding I do, which is not near, I don't do that real hardcore off-road stuff no more. My buddies that I rode with are not riding, so I ride with my wife. I go on bigger trips, so this thing suits me better than the dual sport. So it's going to come down to the choice of, do you want to spend $13,000 or $5,000? On a dual sport, 5, 6, depending on what you get, KTM 7 or 8. But and the type of riding you want to do. Or you want to cruise back roads and gravel roads and go on big trips cross country, then the Africa Twin would be your choice. But if you're wanting to actually go extreme off-roading, rutting and log jumping and all this, that road looks like they've tore it all to pieces. Then the dual sport would be the way to go. So I'm not trying to encourage anybody either way. I'm just trying to tell you what I done. I forgot to say when I actually bought this bike, I had it in my head that about, man, the best of both worlds. I'll give me an Africa Twin. I can still go off-road and do all that stuff. But when I got it, it was a big shock because it really wasn't near. It wasn't even close to the 250L as far as riding in the woods. Hey, I think I'll turn around here. Scare the calf. But, so I was totally shocked. I just thought, it's going to be a dual sport with 1,000 cc's fire-breathing power, and it's going to rip the woods up. And it will. But when you lay this bike over, you're talking a whole lot more expense when you tear stuff up than the 250L. There's a lot more stuff to tear up, even if you got crash bars, so I think a dual sport is a good bike to begin on and ride and to keep around for when you go off riding with the buddies. But if you can afford to have an Africa Twin, especially when you get a little older and you get more mature and you want to start going on big road trips with the guys, then an Africa Twin is really great. So I don't know. I just thought I'd give you a few things to think about on choosing between a adventure bike or a dual sport. So I really appreciate all you guys watching these videos. Please click the thumbs up on this video. Comment below. That's what it's for, so we can talk about it. If you have any questions, ask me about something. Ask me what I think about it. Ask me what I thought about the 250L or what I think. If you have a question, put the comment below and we'll talk about it. So I will close this one for now. Well, it's a nice sunset coming on over there. And catch y'all on the next video.